Potomac Beads. Join me in using the SuperDuos and the MiniDuos in a fun way to create this orchid bracelet. Remember, if you need any supplies, check the links below to shop with us online. Gather up your materials and let's get started. So to begin our design, I have my beads laid out here along with 5 feet of green wildfire beading thread on a size 12 English beading needle. I have my MiniDuo in Pastel Bordeaux, a MiniDuo in Pastel Lilac, a SuperDuo in Turquoise Picasso, 15 OC beads in Duracoat Galvanized Champagne, and then some 2mm bicones in the metallic purple. I have at the end of my 5 feet of beading thread a stop bead. I've added that on and eventually it will come off from the project, but I have left about 10 inches at the end of the thread so I can come back and put my clasp and add that after the fact. To begin, we're going to be working with right angle weave with a little bit of a twist. I'm going to begin by adding in 1, 2, 3, and 4 of my SuperDuos in the green color. I'm going to let those drop down next to that stop bead. And I want you to take your needle and thread back through 1, 2, and then a third one of those beads. When you're exiting the third bead, we're going to do a step up. So we're going to step up from the bottom hole of that SuperDuo bead to the top hole of that same bead. This is going to be the basis for the bracelet. So the base of the bracelet is going to be a continuation of right angle weave. What we're going to do now is we're going to start one of our first of our orchids. I want to add one more of my green SuperDuo. And then in addition to my green SuperDuo, I'm going to add a 15, one of my purple MiniDuos, 15, and then another one of my turquoise regular SuperDuos. I want you to take your thread and needle then through that same SuperDuo that the thread is coming out of. It's coming out the bottom. You're going to go into the top hole of that same bead and come out the bottom. We've got a fair amount of thread to pull at the beginning. And then you have your second set of your right angle weave. What you're going to do from here is step up. You're going to go through that first bead that you added in the SuperDuo. You're going to sew through the 15 and the MiniDuo. When you exit the MiniDuo, we're going to step up. So we're going from the first hole of that MiniDuo to the second hole of that same MiniDuo bead. We're going to continue with the right angle weave, but you're going to add 2 beads on each side of the right angle unit. So I'm going to pick up 1 and 2 beads to be one side of that right angle unit. I'm going to pick up another one of my purple beads and then 2 more purple beads for the other side of the unit. So it's a total of 5 beads that I'm picking up, which I'm going to add in to the one that's already there to make a total of 6 beads. Coming out that bottom MiniDuo, you're going to go into the top hole and pull. You can see that makes our first little flower pattern. When you're coming out of that bottom hole, what we're going to do is we are going to go in and add our crystal in the middle. To add our crystal in the middle, I want you to use one of your 15 seed beads, one of your crystals, and one 15 seed bead. When you have this flower laying here, we're going to jump to the flower that sits opposite. I'm going to jump from this base here, and I'm going to go into the flower on the same side. So the thread's coming out towards the bottom of that MiniDuo. I'm going to go into the MiniDuo that sits across, so skipping over 2, and sew into the bottom towards the top of that bead. Oh, and we lost our 15 there. So let me back out of there quick. Add my 15 and go through it once again. Give a nice tight pull to make sure that you don't have any extra thread showing. Your crystal should sit just slightly on top of that bead. Coming out the bottom of that MiniDuo then, or top rather, you're going to go back through the 15 the crystal, and the 15 That's going to bring it towards the center of our flower. From here, we're going to go back into that same SuperDuo that we started with, where the thread was coming out of. We're going to go into the top of that SuperDuo. Again, this is going to pull that crystal so it's balanced on top of the flower. From here, I want you to take your thread and needle up through 1, 2 SuperDuos and out through the SuperDuo that you shared to add the crystal. Give a nice tight pull, and there is the first of your flowers that you just added. We're going to step up then from that first hole to the second hole of that SuperDuo bead. Once we step up from that first hole to the second hole of the SuperDuo bead, we're going to continue with our right angle weave stitch. Back to just that standard 4 beads. I want you to add 1 15-0, 1, 2, and 3 of your SuperDuos in that turquoise Picasso color, and then one more, or sorry, Jade Picasso, and then one more of your 15-0s. Into the top there of that same SuperDuo, or MiniDuo bead, and that completes the first little floral section. From here we need to step up, so we're going through the 15-0, through the first 2 of our SuperDuos, give a tight yank on your thread, and then take the thread from the first hole of that SuperDuo to the second hole. From here we're going to add our next color of our flower. So right here I'm going to add my SuperDuo, then I'm going to add a 15, the Pastel Bordeaux, 15, and a SuperDuo. Again, coming out the bottom of the Jade SuperDuo, I'm going to go into the top of the Jade SuperDuo. From there, that completes that right angle weave unit. I'm going to go up through the next Jade SuperDuo, through the 15-0, and out through the Bordeaux. Once I'm through the Bordeaux, I'm going to go from that top hole to the bottom hole of that same bead. From there then, what I'm going to do is go in and create my flower again. So I have 2 of my Bordeaux that go on, 1 and 2, a third one for the top, 3 or 4 and 5 for the sides. Coming out the bottom of that Pastel Bordeaux, go into the top. Once that's pulled tight there, go ahead and add your 15 crystal 15. Give a nice tight pull, sew into the bottom of that MiniDuo that sits right across, forcing those beads to the top of the design. From here, coming out that side of the MiniDuo, you're going to go back through the 15, the crystal, the 15, and then from there, we're going to go back into that first original MiniDuo that was part of the previous right angle weave unit, and sew from the top down through the hole that's towards the interior of the flower. Now we get to be on repeat. So you're going to take your thread and needle, go through that bottom hole of those 2 MiniDuos, go into the bottom hole of the one that's sharing the crystal, go from the bottom to the top, and there you have your crystal design. I'm going to add my 15, my 3 SuperDuos, my 15, and start this pattern all over again. When I start the pattern all over again, I will add that nice Lila. So we'll do the Pastel Lila as we continue to go, alternating the Pastel Lila and the Pastel Bordeaux to get my orchids different colors. Once your bracelet is getting long enough, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my flowers, what I'm going to do coming out of the end of my last section here is I'm going to repeat the 3 SuperDuo count. So just like we started, where we started with the 3 SuperDuos, having a full right angle weave unit with 4 of our SuperDuo beads, I'm going to do the same thing here. So just like I've been doing, I'm going to add my last unit here. That's going to be all my green SuperDuos. Stepping up then, I'm going to give a nice tight pull on my thread, step up through that SuperDuo bead, and then you can see the ends match. So it has basically those 6 of those SuperDuos on this end and the 6 of the SuperDuos on the other end. From here, what we're going to do is add our clasp, and I'm just using a cup button in that nice teal color. I'm going to add 1, 2, and 3 of my 15 OC beads. Go ahead and add 1 of your MiniDuos in the purple color of the Bordeaux, go up through the clasp. On top, add one of the other purple colors of the MiniDuos. Go ahead and add 1, 2, 3 15-0 seed beads. Come down through that MiniDuo and the cup button. Give a nice tight pull. Go in the back here and go through the MiniDuo. And then while coming out of the MiniDuo, add 1, 2, 3 of the 15-0s. Go through that same SuperDuo. And then we're going to go back up through this whole thing. So we're going to go back up through all of the seed beads, the MiniDuos, through the 15-0s, there at the top, and then down through the other side till we're coming out, going through our SuperDuo one more time. Once you're coming out the SuperDuo bead, you're going to start to add some 11 OC beads. These 11 OC beads are going to be the Picasso Seafoam, which is very close to this jade color. Coming out of the SuperDuo there, I'm going to add 3 of my 11-Os and sew into the next SuperDuo bead. From here, I want you to add 1 more SuperDuo and sew through the next SuperDuo in line. When coming out of that grouping of SuperDuos, our little leaves there, you're going to add 1 more SuperDuo, 1 15-0 seed bead, and sew into the first of your flower petals there, that lilac. Coming out of the lilac, go ahead and grab 1 more of the lilac SuperDuos, or MiniDuos rather, add that in. Coming out here, again repeat, 1 15-0, 1 of my SuperDuos, sew into that next SuperDuo bead. Once you're sewed into the next SuperDuo bead there, add 1 more SuperDuo and continue down the line. Now I'm doing this the whole way down the right side of the bracelet. We're going to do it the whole way down the left side of the bracelet as well. So we're going to get that nice orchid design in the center of all of our little leaf sections. Once you get to the end of the right side there, we're going to flip over and do the left side. To start, I added my 3 11-0 seed beads there. Added then, after going through the last SuperDuo through the most exterior hole, I added 3 15-0s, 1 of my MiniDuos, and then 34 more 15-0s. You can add 11-0s if you want to, rather than the 15-0s if you'd rather have more of the turquoise color. I wanted a little pop of gold. I'm going to sew down through that Bordeaux MiniDuo, give a nice tight pull, add 3 more 15s, and sew into the opposite side of my SuperDuo. From here then, I'm not going to worry about reinforcing the clasp because I still have to come down 1 more time. And I did move the stop bead and the extra thread just in case out of the way. I'm going to add 3 more of my 11-0 seed beads, go through my next SuperDuo in line, and then just to flip it over so you can see, I'm going to come back down then and repeat what I did on the previous side, adding in my SuperDuos as well as my MiniDuos too. After finishing up the opposite side, then we're going to add our 3 11-0s and go into our SuperDuo. At the same time, go ahead and go through those 3 11-0s that we added previously. Add in 3 more of your 11-0s and sew through your second row of your SuperDuos there. So that's bringing you out right in between. When you get to that point, go ahead and add 1 of your 11-0s and right into the next SuperDuo bead. That's going to pull that open a tiny bit, and then we're going to add our gold. When you add your gold, you're also going to pick up 1 of your crystals. So you're going to add 1 of your gold 15s, 1 crystal, and sew through the next MiniDuo. Again, add a crystal, add a 15, sew through the next SuperDuo. That adds a little bit of that pop of that purple on the exterior. When you're here, add in 1 11-0 seed bead, sew through the next SuperDuo, add another 11-0 seed bead, sew through the next SuperDuo. It's going to bunch them up a little bit. From here then again, 15, 1 crystal. If you need to, you can put another 15 on the other side if it starts to really pool. 15 or crystal and then a 15. So you're just going to continue the whole way down this right side of the bracelet, adding in your crystals and your 11 to cap off that little leaf section, as well as the crystals to really, really make those orchids really pop up. When you get to the end of the first side here, you're going to add your 3 11-0s, go into the 11s that are already there, and then what we're going to do is go ahead and reinforce our clasp. I want you to take your needle and thread back up through all the seed beads, all the way around, and then over here to your set of 3s. When you get to those set of 3s, go ahead and tie off that starter thread if you do not need any extra thread. If your thread is running short a little bit, you can actually put a needle on and pick up that extra starter thread in order to finish down to the rest of the project. Once you're back around here, you're going to add in your 3 11-0s and continue on the opposite side, just like we did the first side that I just completed. When you get to the end of the design here, all you have to do after coming down the side is add in your 3 11-0 seed beads, go up through the 3 that are there, and then use this opportunity to one more time reinforce the clasp, going up through the seed beads through the clasp. Afterwards, you'll be exiting on this side here of that SuperDuo. When you're exiting on this side of the SuperDuo, then go ahead and take the thread back a tiny little bit here towards the beginning of the design, tying off and just burning off the thread ends. Once you have it finished, then you can see how fun it looks on the wrist in that nice iris form. If you do want the irises to sit a little bit closer in the design, in the actual sample piece, what I did was, instead of adding in my 3 SuperDuos in the middle there, I actually went in and after every little section here, I added in one of my colored beads, so that way the flowers do sit closer together if you don't want as much of a break between your actual between your actual orchid flowers little there. So you can, once you're done, tie off the extra thread, go back to the starter thread if you didn't tie off to there, weave that through, have it all finished, and then your bracelet is nice and completed. For the record too, also just so you're informed, I have a tiny wrist, so I ended up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers. You may need to do 8 or 9 flowers in your design. If you want to get the bracelet, and this bracelet really does finish right about 7 inches. If you need to get it a little bit bigger and need to do 8, keep in mind to do that. You'll finish and end on a different color, but it will still look beautiful. Thanks so much for joining me in making this fun orchid bracelet. Remember, you can change up the colors, change up the design a little bit, and comment below if you do make changes. Remember also to share the video and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, do a little click in the corner so you get regular updates from us here at Potomac Beads. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for learning that 2-hold right angle weave, and then also you got a little bit of peyote stitch too coming back down the sides. As always, happy beading, and thanks for watching.